mid 40s and shit. How she is she playing like a 20-something-year-old girl?
I don't know, man. I guess they figured because they could get away with
Shit.
the overcasting with white folks in this one
No,
because
she like
they're all
40.
meth heads. So
She like 46. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, but
that's
she.
in the 40. So they
I'm like,
probably was like, well, they all toe up anyway, so it'll matter what we cast them.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she was. I mean, she was good for a little redneck girl in the movie, but I didn't know how old. But I thought like her character was supposed to be,
But see,
younger.
I think they may have been fibbing around with a lot of the source material. That may be why some of it hasn't gotten too many of the too many the reviews haven't been as golden as some of the other movies have been.
Maybe she's. Yeah, I'm just wondering. Is it supposed to be the mama, or is she maybe his mom? Because I know his mom was like young. The main character's mom was young. Maybe in what's her name is supposed to be his grandma, and that shit would make, I guess, more sense. Glenn Close.
Close is the grandma. Right?
Yeah, Glenn Close is the grandma, and Adams is the mama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. For me, I feel like that story would have made. I feel like that movie would have been made better. Would have been better received maybe if Trump was still in office.
Well, he was in office when it came out.
Oh, I thought it just came. I thought. Oh yeah, duh. Yeah, it just came out a couple months ago. Yeah, I was just like, I don't.
They was riding a wave of how can we understand the Appalachian peoples and all that shit.
They late when that book. Well, I don't know. That damn book came out like 5 years ago or something like that. Because I remember reading it, and it's been the last time since it's been a long time since I've read one of them type of books. For lack of a better term. So
I think it takes some movies. It take a while, especially with those adaptations, and some I just think that probably was doomed from the start. That whole project, So
it's hard. I don't know. It's some of those movies are really good. What was that movie that Jennifer Lawrence was in? And it's called Winter's Bone or something like that.
Winter's Bone. That was like her breakthrough.
Yeah, that shit was good. But it's hard for them, like the Ozark. Like well, no, Ozark is guess about drug trafficking, but Winter Bone was like, that was like one of the few movies that I guess predicts the Appalachian white that doesn't come off as like campy.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's so. I don't know. I wonder what Dave Chappelle thinks about it because I know that was his own. Those were his own whipping. Those were his own whipping post. People.
He stay not too far from those people.
Yeah, so I want to know what he thought about it because because I'm sure he's.
What I'm looking forward to is Clint Eastwood's or some other type director that their sensitive portrayal of this asshole who shot up those people in Atlanta.
Oh, please, that's so funny.
There's gonna be some portrayal of Bradley Cooper or
that motherfucker.
Somebody's gonna act get their Oscar bait on trying to get into his head and how could he possibly do this?
What the Dylan Roof that went after Asian people? No, I don't think that. I hope that nobody get that nigga any shine.
They've done it. I'm surprised they haven't done it with Dylan Roof already, but it's been done with other type of characters like that.
Oh, you know what I'm interested in seeing? I'm interested in seeing HBO has the Q movie. Have you seen the preview for that? The QAnon or whatever you call this shit.
Oh, QAnon. Yeah, I've heard something. I've heard something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude that's supposed to be Q looks like a fuckboy. If you haven't seen the picture,
that's not surprising.
He's got like this duckbill hairdo. And it's like if I had that hair, I'd cut it off. and he's got like a mustache. He looks like, and it's him and his dad that they're saying are like the people who've started this thing.
Yeah,
And, eh,
yeah. I heard it started with like just one person, and you know,
it's just so
another great revolutionary movement
it's
in
just so
America.
messed up. It's messed up the story behind it. If this little dude, yeah, I would just I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch the movie, but the previews were like, this is some weird shit. If this is the origin of this, it's got all these people, you know, into it like it's a cult.
I say burn them all at the stake, man. And I think we're not. I put I put in our recap, or not our recap, but our rundown. I'll make a statement about white supremacy, and I think they're trying to let this guy off the hook already in Atlanta, talking about, well, he was sexually frustrated or something, and
What?
you know, yeah, they trying to make it about sex or something, and
So he's sexually frustrated. So he shoots up the one people that could have helped him out.
right, he goes there and shoots them instead of just saying, "Hey, pleasure
I want
me,"
I want
you
to
know.
I want a happy ending. Yeah,
Yeah, let's get it.
uh, I
Let's
know
get
that.
our let's get our tug on, instead of.
I know that's terrible.
But no, apparently I guess he was having a hard time being tempted, and he wanted to eliminate the temptation. So
I don't know. Like the fucking when they use that. What is his name? What is it? Nah. That's
when he talked
they.
about
I just
fuck boys.
I'm just like it's just like if the whole purpose, I was listening to the Stacey Abrams what is it biography with Nura last weekend, and surprisingly it was really good. Well, not surprisingly, it just was it was some more of that what I expected. But I hope the state can stay red a little bit. I wish the state could stay red long enough for red states normally send people to the gas chamber and shit, or kill them.
Say they got to stay red with there. They can't be
Yeah,
they
that's the
can't be
problem.
too liberal with this one.
No, it's like you got to make it a special exception. Like it's like we normally don't do this shit, but for you, we're gonna make a special exception. Because I'm
Well,
like,
whether we're talking red or blue states, I think one thing that America has lost control of is our resolve. Well, no, maybe we never really had that much resolve towards white supremacy, because so many people who call the shots have been white supremacists, and whether they were blatant with it or they were just, they had their robes in their secret closets like a watchman. You know, it's they so many people feed into the thought processes of guys like this guy in Atlanta, and we got to exterminate this stuff, man. And
I,
this stuff that's happening with the Asian community is bullshit. It sucks. And I'm seeing people. I haven't seen this much, but unfortunately I saw it not long before we went on here tonight. And I'm seeing people already like, black people like, well, they don't go hard for us, or they follow us in stores and stuff. So it's like
you compare it. I don't.
niggas is really. I mean, niggas is going to niggas. So they being petty is part of that. But this is beyond. This is beyond that type of shit. There's been horrible things that have happened in the past, like Latasha Harlins and stuff. But we can't. There have been people. There have been Asian people who have rode with us, and when you look at what happened last summer, there was no mistaking that it was a broad, multiracial, movement that took place. People of all races were out there in the streets, for black people, and I think that should have been a breakthrough for us, man. We can't go back to this petty shit where it's like, I ain't putting myself on the line for these. I mean, this is about ending the most destructive trait in our nation, in our society. We have to put this shit to rest, man, because
Oh yeah.
they're fighting harder than ever. They're going to fight harder than ever, and they feel that their livelihood, their society that they want to have is coming to an end. So they're going to fight to the death for that shit. And
Well,
I just think it's no putting ourselves to the side with this now. At least I ain't saying go out there and fight white supremacists hand to hand or or gunfights or whatever, but don't be out here like using platforms and saying like, well, it ain't my people, so fuck it. Like,
what?
that's bullshit.
The nigga Quanin. I don't know. It's just no. I mean, yeah, that's real ignorant. I mean, it's all I can say. It's real ignorant. It's very short sighted. It's very self centered. Yeah, no. I mean, you mentioned the Latasha Harlins thing, and it's really funny. After watching both of the LA riot
Yeah,
documentaries,
yeah, yeah.
they both showed Asian communities trying to stand in solidarity with black communities, even though we fucked that shit up. Black
Right.
people in
And
LA fucked that
there was
shit up.
a lot of there's a lot of fucking up like in LA back and forth with that.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think that you can. And to be honest with you, I don't know. My mind is even being I don't know. And I think Chicago. I think the problem with Chicago is just that unfortunately the dense level of racial segregation just really makes things difficult, even more difficult than they already are as far as just having a wider perception. But I think the right to life, it don't matter if you like a motherfucker or not. I mean, I don't. I mean, I may not necessarily have an affinity to, hillbillies or whatever the fuck or Trump supporters, but I don't. They get shot up on a random. I'll still say that shit was wrong.
Right. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, man. And
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we should all be fighting. We should definitely be fighting violence, state-sponsored violence, and we should be fighting homegrown terrorism. And most of that shit is coming from white men who are fucking fucked up in some way or twisted around some way where they just can't deal with this multiracial society that we're all in. And beyond those people, it seemed like the only other people, at least who make it so public that they try and they try to do it out of a sense of I don't know whether they think they're a latter day Malcolm or whatever. Like they try to act like black folks can exist in on our own island in this nation, and we're not going to be able to do that. We can't. We never have, and we never will exist.
Okay, got it. No, oh yeah, no, I agree. You can't. Yeah, we're not. You can't operate like a fort. You're not going to be able to, succeed from the union and shit.
Yeah. And I understand too. Like the way it's expressed sometimes is like, well, we always have to take the lead, or we always have to be the sacrificial lamb. But so we got to. Sometimes we did set the tone for this. We did set the tone for the fight against racial violence in this country. And why would we secede that responsibility? I don't know. When there's still so much that needs to be worked on, that needs to be that needs to be like I said, that needs to be overcome. We still have to overcome.
Yeah. And I don't, people are real. Yeah, the ones who are, I guess I don't know where. I guess I don't know what social media platform that they saying this dumb shit on, but
The one I saw, the most recent one I saw was on Facebook, which is kind of what you expect. But even though we're on Facebook now, this is we're doing this actually on Facebook this week as opposed to our usual YouTube.
yeah.
But it was on Facebook, and that's kind of what you expect. But I'm sure there's plenty of that on Twitter too. But there was a post that I saw on IG that was it was a story a person, the blogger and activist Feminista Jones posted something about a story that was on NBC's website that it was like one of those how to posts, and there was a black writer actually who apparently wrote it, and it was like how black people can be better allies to Asians in this moment. And like she was upset about the post, and of course our followers were for the most part, and I kind of agreed with that as well, because it was like it was it seemed from what I saw of it to be very patronizing. Like it was like you know, and a feminista's position was like, we don't need any explanation. We don't need any instructions about how to fight, racism, essentially, in America.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if it's that, I don't. Yeah, I definitely agree with that part.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
yeah,
think.
I didn't agree with that, but at the same, but like what I'm saying, and like I said, statement I want to make on this show tonight is just that, try to be more empathetic, man. And I think I would like to think that after everything that's happened the past year plus, that we can all be a little bit more empathetic about each other. And we this is a battle, man. It's when it's not ending anytime soon, and we all got a role that we can play in it. So I would rather stand as a man, as a black man, as I call myself a progressive, whatever that means. But I believe in more rights and more the better establishment of rights of for all people. So it's not about what whatever's been in the past and whatever quibbles we've had. Like I say, the petty shit. You know, I'm down with building with those who are down to build with me. I'm sure there are Asian people who could give a fuck about black people. I don't give a fuck about them in return. But the Asian people who I know do give a fuck about black people, I give a fuck about them too. And I'm gonna use my platforms, and if I go out in the street and rep for them, I'm a rep for those people, and then and we gonna rep for
Well,
each other.
well, for me, it comes down to whether your personal preferences for another person, even if you have certain prejudices, whether black, Asian, whatever you are. I mean, you still have a right to life. I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
that what happens is that when you get to the point where guns get drawn or violence occurs, I think that's when the lines are crossed. If you want to talk, I don't necessarily agree with what a lot of the dumb shit that the president said for me, but a lot of it kind of went in one ear out the other until January 6th happened, because that's when or the Charlottesville, because that's those
Yeah,
incidents
those
when.
flashpoints.
Right, those flashpoints. So for me, all the dumb shit you talking in between, and I know they get certain people upset and hot, but for me, it didn't mean anything until something violent occurred, and
But
along with
the
it.
thing is too, Dave, like you say, those in between things. Like Trump was such, he was such an asshole, but he wanted to be a comedian too. Like I think when he said stuff like the kung fu flu and all this, did all these bits about attributing Asian people to the COVID and its spread and everything. He was really saying he was. I think he was serious about it in a way, but he also was playing to people. He was playing to a crowd, much like a comedian would, and
Well,
and he was just saying shit to say it.
Trump, Trump is. I think Trump is really like dude trying to get in girls' underwear. That's what I think. I mean, I don't. I think that he is like you telling them you love him or you're in love with him just to
Right,
get to
right,
that thing, but you don't know how it affects that person.
right.
And I think that's really what it is. So while Trump may have thought he was being funny, it was some people taking that shit to heart. Now, it was a few weeks ago in a paper here where this Asian family had moved into this community, Ladera Ranch. There's two Laderas. There's Ladera Heights, which is the black area of Los
Oh,
Angeles.
yeah, I've heard of that.
You know, yeah, the once well-to-do area. Well, it's still well-to-do, but it's no longer as black as it used to be. But anywho, or Ladera Ranch, which is in Orange County. It's Asian family moved from the further inland where it's hotter. They moved to further west to Ladera Ranch, and they had these neighborhood teenagers fucking with them using racial slurs. And fortunately, a lot of the neighbors, once they found out this dumb shit was happening, they kind of rallied and came to these this family's aid.
Okay.
You know, so, but it's just really unfortunate that you still have these people who just don't understand. It's like, I don't know. It's not one. I don't know. It's just everybody should have the basic human right to live life and not be fucked with. Live life and not have to worry about it being taken away from them. And you would think that in America, for the us beating on our chest that we're the best nation in the world, we still seem to not understand that shit.
Nope.
Just the right to life and whatnot. I have my text chain with, I'll just say with the Cocaine Cowboys, and they had and they showed this video, and I think it was in Memphis or Nashville where this police officer had pulled over this woman. Had it. They, the car was registered to somebody else. That person had warrants. They had her get out the car. He had her get out the car. He initially had called for backup, then he told backup, "Oh, I don't need you." So, and he started searching through her bag. He found some weed. Man, found a little bit of coke in it. She's outside, nervous, pacing, smoking a cigarette, talking to her mom on the phone. She gets back in the car. He starts tasering her, and she pulls out a pistol and starts shooting. She shoots back, ends up hitting. They both hit each other. She ends up going some crashing, dying. And the argument that I had with the other guys was like, what she did was that wasn't the right response, but at the same time, I was like, that could have been handled better. I just felt like one, he could have waited for backup, you know, anything that he could have done. I was like, then just going trying to tase somebody in the damn car. I was like, you could, you tasing somebody. I mean, she was in a Camaro, so if you ever been in a Camaro, it's a real small, tight space.
Yeah.
And she was big too. So I was like, I mean, I don't know. Even if I wasn't gonna, even if somebody had, I mean, not saying what she did was right, but you got her trapped in a car where you taser her, and it was like, and she pulled a damn gun. I was like, I don't know. Though she shouldn't have done it. Of course, do I understand why she should have done it? It just feels like, I don't know. The main point of this is that in America, for whatever reason, the first place we go to solve problems a lot of times is violence.
Yeah.
Whether there's violence and rhetoric, whether there's violence and threats, whatever it is,
Right.
whether
The
it's
threat of
violence,
violence. Yeah.
whether it's physical or physical violence, and it's just like for whatever reason, I don't know. We have not advanced to the point where we are adept at dealing with problems without involving violence, whether you're in law enforcement or whether you're just somebody on a damn, somebody in a community outside of yours that you don't necessarily have a liking for. I mean, and that shit's got to stop. I mean, like this, otherwise, the motherfuckers got to get their guns taken away from you. You can't be civilized enough as a nation to deal with your problems without shooting somebody.
And we can't even have a discussion about gun control in this country, really.
I mean, like everyone has this concept where it's like, okay, well, where you're gonna take away my guns, you take away my freedom. It's like, well, I don't know what the hell. Most of the time, Most of the time, I don't understand the people's needing for or for so many at least. Or you need a fucking assault
Or
weapon.
to get the caliber of gun.
Assault weapons, automatic rifles. You don't need a fucking AR-15, to protect your damn family. You just don't. If you really feel like you need something, you need a 9, and that's all you need. But you don't need
And
all this.
The funny thing is that people feel they need those guns because there's so many other assholes out there who do have AR-15s.
And what my whole thing is like, if you can't shoot worth a shit, it don't matter what the hell you got. I mean, that's the whole thing about it. I see motherfuckers showing up they damn, like on Facebook, since we talk about Facebook or Instagram, shooting up they damn, target practice, and they all over the damn place. They look like a fucking Rorschach test. like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
or somebody busted a nut or something. It's like all over the place. There's no like control showing within the range, and they be smiling, holding the shit up like, like look at me, and I was like, I'm gonna stay away from your monkey ass because you can't shoot.
I
And
saw a video the other day. Mike Terra put up a video of some lady who was in the range, and she was barely keeping the bullets within
the kick,
her containment area.
the
Like,
kickback, the kickback,
yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
have no
She just had a pistol. She was like
no
popping,
the
falling back.
recoil.
She was popping the
Yeah,
pistol. Like,
yeah, I have can't control the recoil on the damn gun. You end up shooting the wrong motherfuckers. Yeah. It's like everyone does not need a gun. I mean,
not at
you
all.
really don't. Cause and just yeah, and go. I mean, if anything, I don't know. I feel like it feels like what it takes to get a fucking gun ain't that much more than what it takes to get a damn driver's license. And
Yeah, no,
it's
no.
just like,
And
yeah,
they try to they like whenever you go into it with the conservative lot and everything, you say, the only thing they'll give you is that, well, we shouldn't have it in the hands of the mentally unstable. But they don't call for any type of, really conservatives are more likely to undercut any type of funding to help mentally unstable people in general.
and I don't even know what the fuck. Like everybody has, and that's a loaded ass statement in the first place because
Right.
everybody has a fucking. Even if you're not crazy on a damn daily basis in a fucking COVID environment, everybody's had what we like to call a momentary lapse of reason.
Yeah.
So, here's my,
And that's
what,
what and say before you go on. That's what they was trying. That's the main. I think that's one of the main things they were trying to say with this guy too. That he just had a bad day. And it's like, what the
uh,
fuck? Like,
oh no, you can't. No, it's one day you have a bad day and you shoot one motherfucker that
yeah.
cuts you off
my
in traffic. You don't.
my man David Aldridge, man, great sports journalist. He said on Twitter, like, when I have a bad day, I listen to some Nina Simone or smoke or have a or have a drink or something. Like, yeah, I'll go shoot up a bunch of motherfuckers. Like,
None of those excuses make any damn sense to me. I'm like, I don't know. Like people's hypocrisy when it comes to like the double edged standard. There's some people close to me and they make excuses for certain shit, and I'm like, you sound like, yeah. I was like, this shit. All these damn excuses sound real. They sound real familiar. I'm like, for lack of a better term, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, but people make a lot of goddamn excuses. Oh, thank you. Good.
right.
That's what the
That's
fuck you
my
should.
man, my guy Wes. I know what you do when you have that's exactly what you do when you have a bad day.
Exactly. Take that.
Me, me and Wes have had a few bad days together. And we've done exactly that.
Exactly. I mean, and honestly, that's what you should do if the choice is that, or if the alternative is that, or you going shooting the motherfucker. I'm like, if do live in Georgia. If he was really all that pissed off, he should have went and bought some damn, banana leaf and had smoked him one, and then, then figured out what Plan B is. I do that. That's great.
That's true as well. That's true as
That,
well.
that's great. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd rather go smoke some weed. Killing somebody is not. I don't understand as a statement. I was watching some shit by the Unabomber. I was watching a documentary on the Unabomber, and his story is really interesting. And like he was blowing up motherfuckers, but he actually had a reason behind it. He felt like everyone he was blowing up, he was doing intentionally. He didn't like corporations that he felt like were polluting the environment, or he felt like technology
Yeah.
was
He had a
taking
whole
control.
philosophy, a whole
Manifesto.
manifesto. Yeah,
Are you shooting up motherfuckers just because I don't know, whatever arbitrary reason in your brain you think it's a good idea, or see these people as an enemy? I'm like, that
but
shit don't make any sense.
well, we've had, like I said, it could be petty as hell. There have been instances. I got it in my head now. This one kid in California a couple years ago, maybe a couple years ago, maybe long at this point, but he really was one of the, like, this is when the incel thing first really got to be known by people in the public, because he was essentially, that's why he went on a mass shooting, because he said he couldn't get none. He couldn't get none. Like, and it
What
could
is what did you call it? Incel? What?
incel, yeah.
What
You
is that?
you you haven't heard of incels?
No, no. What is incel?
Oh damn. I hope, I hate to put you on this,
Yeah,
but
I mean
yeah, it's okay. Let me see if I can get this on the screen.
incel. What the hell is it called? How do you spell it?
INCEL.
I may have
Sleep.
seen I may have seen the shit
But
before.
I'm
Involuntary celibates? How the
yeah.
hell do how the hell do you I'm like how the hell do you end up a fucking involuntary celibate in this day and age?
Well, if
They live.
it helps when you don't know how to talk to women, for one.
You don't
Because
even need to know how to talk. That's the reason why you got apps, Tinder, Bumbler, Grinder. Well, I don't know. Like, this is not
well,
in modern
yeah.
day age.
That's one thing too. Like, well, let me look up this particular guy, because, but
I understand. Maybe 10 years ago, you didn't have, you know, the
yeah, the Isla Vista killings is 2014.
fucking yeah. That may have been like right on the precipice of like Tinder and Bumbler and Tinder coming out. Tinder coming out. So I was like, okay, you didn't have Tinder. Tinder came
Yeah.
out, I think like yeah. So I it's, here it goes.
I don't think this is the exact person I was thinking about. But see, but what I'm getting to with, I'm show this,
What is
put this in the comments of this particular link. But what I'm getting to is that I think when you talk about, again, white supremacy and conservative viewpoints and everything, that really they get mixed up in these sort of areas of nihilism and sociopathy, where it leads easily to, you know to mass killings and shootings like this, these type of ways of thinking, and they exercise eventually, because these people they internalize these feelings and these thoughts, and they seek out communities deep in within the internet, and they let off all their steam online and stuff in some of these dark corners of the internet, but eventually that doesn't become enough, and then they go and do vile things like mass shootings and stuff. So I we can't kill all that stuff completely, but I think if you're a person who goes through life and you have more of a empathetic, if you base your interactions in the world for more of a place of empathy, for more of a place of community, it's harder for you to go out in any way and hurt anyone, especially on a mass level. But some people just get so far gone where they just they'll reach a point where they don't give a fuck, and they don't value themselves either. They don't value their own lives, so they
well,
don't mind going out and doing something that is surely going to ruin their lives,
so
if not
so
lead them to being killed.
so the question becomes: so as we as society, why should we feel sympathy or try to rationalize, or understand the fucked up things they've done? Why shouldn't our sympathy be with those who the lives they took? Why should we be
I mean,
trying
I
to
like
ration?
this. Once a person does these sort of acts, I'm not going to have much sympathy for them. But I think, like I said, the challenge is instilling sympathy and instilling some sort of care or different attitude in these people, before they go out and do something tragic. You know what I
I
mean?
you
It's
you're not come. I mean, the reality of it is, in any given society, you're not going to be able to give everyone. You're not going to be able to catch everyone. I mean, some people are going to
right.
fall
Yeah,
through the cracks.
everyone won't be
Some
able to
be,
be reached.
yeah. I mean, everyone's not going to be able to be reached, and I'm sure that whoever this dude's parents are, they're going to come on the show. They're going to be on TV. and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we were so surprised he did this. We never
Yeah,
knew."
he was
Yeah,
such a nice boy. He was
all that same,
yeah, yeah,
all that bullshit they always do, and I mean, those people are in denial. I mean, denial about probably their own selves versus as well as their child they gave birth to, or they raised more importantly,
yeah, yeah,
or didn't raise. And I mean, just the reality of it is that society, those families, of the people who are taken are the ones who have to kind of deal with your child having a bad fucking day.
yeah.
Um, so I don't feel like from a judicial standpoint, it's not us to be psychologists post incident. We're not here to psychoanalyze the motherfucker. I mean, we got only
Yeah.
thing a
But,
judicial system is supposed
yeah,
to.
that's not what I'm saying either. But I agree with you saying, but I'm not saying that either. I think the challenge is cultivating a society in general and at large that is better able to take to better able to deal with these people and better able
Well,
to you know contain them and
well,
contain at least the most violent and most sociopathic urges that they have.
well,
Like these people are probably still going to. A lot of these people are still going to. They're going to be frustrated in a lot of ways. They're
well,
still going to have their bad days, and bad days can pile up on people. I understand that, but like I said, we just how like I said, we still in America, we still have too many of these incidents, and
well,
they don't happen the same in other countries,
well,
in other societies.
well I think
Why do we have to have these things so much?
because motherfuckers love their guns,
Yeah,
but
gun access is definitely a big
yeah,
part.
I mean, yeah, but more important because taking a knife to kill somebody is a lot more of a personal thing. A gun is an impersonal way of killing someone. I mean,
Sure,
if
yeah,
you really, if you didn't have a gun and all you had was a knife to kill somebody, you probably would give it a little bit more thought. I mean,
yeah,
or if you're off the reservation, for lack of a better term, and you wouldn't give it a thought, and then you would know that person is genuinely has some severe mental health issues. They just weren't holding on, having a bad day. But furthermore, I think that part of the challenge in American society is that you have a group of people who believe that trying to be racially sensitive, trying to be gender sensitive, all of those things are an affront to to masculinity, American masculinity, American manhood,
it's a sign of weakness.
white man, yeah, societal weakness. So you
Yeah,
also have to combat that. It's not just a lack of teaching someone the right way. You have a lot of people that believe that this is a affront to the way that society historically has operated at, and that is, it's going to essentially destroy it. It's from
that's well
yeah,
said. That's well said.
yeah, so I think that's also a thing that you have to fight. It's just this ignorant way of thinking. It's like, okay, being, respectful, sensitive of, life, or be able to deal with your anger in productive ways makes you less of a man. Because there are a lot of people, and it's just not it's just not white men that think that, it's black men that think that, it's Latino men that think that,
Yeah.
and it's just a backward ass thinking. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
We gonna talk about one man in particular, a black man, who I think is sort of uh, thrived off of that way of thinking and living in a lot of ways.
I love dumb. I love talking about dumb niggas. Uh, so,
Well, let's just go into that right quick. I think we should have actually a guest uh, come on at some point. Well, we got about we're gonna do about 45 more minutes because Dave has to some other
family
responsibilities.
obligations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family obligations. So we'll see if he comes on. But before we gonna talk about the Oscar nominations in a little bit. But I want before we talk about that, I want to talk about Kanye and
The master of
you know
peasant clothes.
yeah, he's making apparently a lot of money off those peasant clothes and
I,
those horrible sneakers. Although I did see yesterday an actual pair of the sort of the newer pair of Yeezy sneakers that I actually would rock, but a lot of them have just been crap. and he's apparently rolled all this peasant clothing and like say where you got the peasant clothing thing from, Dave, because that's a genius.
My wife, she's like they're paying him $1 billion or whatever. This is $1 billion deal. It's like he goes in like peasant clothes. I try to tell her that, that why all of it, a lot of his shit is derivative in the first place. I mean, it's from that. What is that? It's called Raf Simons and Rick Owens, I believe, is the
Okay.
designers. Raf Simons and then Rick Owens. Yeah, I mean they make like that dark futuristic Star Wars type fashion, and so he's just pretty much pulling, jacking their style for lack of a better term. He's put his brand on it, and you know, Gap is a dying
I could
fucking brand.
I could see that because he's taking advantage of that, definitely. And
Yeah.
I could see him. I could definitely see him ride another designer's coattails because as great as a producer as he has been, even at his best, he was still derivative of. He's still been derivative of RZA, of Jay Dilla, of Pete Rock, of Premier, in various ways.
Mhm.
But he's that's just what he does. So, but he's made himself into apparently the richest black person ever in America. He's worth $6.6 billion now. I'm reading from a post from Cassius Life from Instagram. According to Bloomberg, the collaboration between Yeezy and Gap may be valued at nearly $1 billion as well. And they quote from Bloomberg: Yeezy, West sneaker, and apparel business with Adidas AG and Gap Inc. is valued at $3.2 billion to $4.7 billion by UBS Group AG, according to a private document reviewed by Bloomberg.
I take all them financial firms valuations with a fucking grain of salt in the first place. I
I think
trust.
that's what I'm think. I've been thinking
I
that too.
like
Where, where are these numbers coming
I
from?
would invest. I would take more credence in the value of fucking. I'd buy if I had a choice between investing in that shit and investing in cryptocurrency right now. I invest my money in cryptocurrency. If I'm going to invest in fucking Kanye's stock, because that shit, I'm pretty sure has less cryptocurrency has less volatility than what I
Yeah,
foresee Kanye's.
he's gonna get so much. He's gonna be very Trump like with this because he's gonna get a bunch of leverage off this and a bunch of he's just gonna go so far with this because that value is projected. It's not
Yes,
actual. It's not
exactly.
liquid.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's projected. I mean, it's not liquid. Who knows how? I mean, they're projecting. That one, this is gonna save Gap's ass. We don't know if it's gonna save Gap's ass, and I think there's a difference between clothing versus shoes. Shoe culture is like, I don't know. That's something that's like a cultural. I mean, for a lot of people, there's a cultural connection to shoes, and there's a culture and there's a and it's also more of just being Kanye being an icon. I think it's that shoe
It's
connection is a lot deeper than I think his clothes are. I don't think his clothes are gonna take on like fucking wildfire. I personally don't.
but even if you look at the shoe, the market for shoes that could be upended by like the kid who his mama worked for Nike and he fucking hoarded all the shoes in his garage or some shit. You remember that? You heard that story?
No.
Oh man, Dave, the kid this kid ruined his mother's job at Nike. He used up a expense account that she had, bought up a
I-
bunch of Nike shoes, and was reselling them. And
oh,
yeah,
it's not.
he fucked up and did too many posts online. It got found out, and his mama lost the job, and
Oh, that's
you
fucked up.
know, yeah.
That
But
yeah
I'm
no
saying
that
the
that that's
resale
that.
market for shoes, that shit could flip in a moment because of some little asshole like that.
Well, I mean, you have to be flooding the market. Well, I don't know. You have to be flooding the market, and I don't. I think in any particular case, a lot of his valuation is based on his shoes. Clothes ain't shit. I mean, like, I don't know. Like people, I don't. Yeah, his clothes ain't shit. I don't know how else to say it. And I mean, I'm not wild about his shoes either, but I understand like the cultural connection and all the craziness, infatuation with his shoes. I don't think it's going to transfer over his clothes. I mean, I think his
Well,
clothes in certain markets are
unless
going to
there's
do
a bunch
well.
more of the Hunger Games movies that are going to be made.
I mean, unless he's gonna be like staffing motherfuckers to your point on the Hunger Games or Star Wars or some shit, I don't see it. No, I think that it was Gap trying to hold on to somebody who's popular to be able to save themselves
Sure.
as a brand. And I mean, because they've been closing stores left and right, so for them, this is Kanye was kind of like a damn lifeboat. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I just put up the
yeah.
link about the reseller.
Yeah,
But
yeah. If I was, honestly, if I was Kanye, I mean, to him, I understand his idea, his goal is to be as popular, as mainstream as possible. But like I said, if I was going to be in the fashion industry, I'd probably be doing more of a Virgil move. I don't like Virgil shit either, but I'd be doing the Louis
you don't
Vuitton,
like yeah, you don't like the building sweaters and
the
the
building
Chicago
sweaters.
skyline sweaters,
No, I
whatever
haven't
the
even
hell.
seen it. I haven't even seen it. I just know about the off-white brand.
Um, you missing it, man. You missing all type of stuff, man. Let me show
I'm
you
I,
the. Let me show
I'm
you
just
that. I think I should be able to get that up.
yeah. I'm no. I mean,
But yeah,
not
but I agree with you. Like Kanye just wants he just wants a brash takeover of fashion. He doesn't want to really add anything to fashion. Like he just wants to
like
he just wants everybody to know who he is as a fashion person and his brand to be like to really take over shit.
yeah. Kanye. I mean, I don't know. Kanye seems like right. What's going with him seems like it's like a play out of a bad joke. Like it just really seems to to be a play out of somebody who's gotten like I don't know. It's like you watch one of those you watch a movie. What the fuck is that?
That's the skyline jacket.
What
Yeah, that's his skyline. That's Virgil put that out earlier this year. Or
is?
last year I should say, yeah.
Are these? I mean, are they wearing like kid like Are they wearing kids toys?
No, man, they're wearing jackets
They're
that have
wearing building block
buildings.
build. What? What? I
Yeah.
don't know. No, that's terrible. I don't know. I mean, I hope to be wealthy enough where I can just like do weird shit because it seems like the wealthier people get, the weirder they become. Um,
Yeah, definitely. I
it's
mean,
really
look,
what.
it's a nice portrayal of Chicago skyline, but
But it's not meant for a person to be worn. I guess is
no, not it, no,
that's
no.
really what I did. That's where the confusion comes in for me. This looks like a little boy on punishment. Um, like he's not. He doesn't look to be enjoying himself.
Yeah, they
I
you got I don't know. I guess we're not creative enough, Dave, to
creative
yeah
enough.
we
I
to
don't.
expand the
Well,
boundaries of certain things that
well.
that's why Virgil is where he is because he can think of shit like that
I don't know. Most high fat. Well, one most
and
high
get people
fashion.
to fund it.
Well, one I can't fit. Most high fashion I can't fit in the first damn place. Second of all, because most Italian clothes are made extra fucking small.
Definitely.
So first of all, even if and then two, even if I could, I don't. The, you know, the shit I like is a lot more subtle. You'd never see me going around looking like I belong on a goddamn wall, like I'm a piece of modern art. I don't really know what the whole purpose of it is. I mean, it's one thing about like
Yeah,
it's it's
more
one
about
thing like
function form.
yeah, it's one thing like having shit on your wall, it's one thing about having like weird, pop art on your wall. Like I understand that the infatuations with and I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Flyboy, Fly Girl. What is his name? Because he's actually doing a Jim Henson movie now.
Yeah,
Or
God, my man, but well, now I'm blanking on. Yeah,
fuck,
fly,
just look it up, Flyboy.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Oh boy, I've
uh,
interviewed him too. I don't know why he actually is related.
Hebrew,
Who
Hebrew.
he? Yeah, Hebrew. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, it's one thing having Hebrew shit on the wall. It's another thing wearing Hebrew shit. There you go. I mean,
yeah,
unless you're a child. I mean, then I can understand. My kid is even taking a picture with the goggles when they had the art installation up in Evanston or wherever the hell they had it at. But
yeah.
yeah, is it?
I bought a Hebrew shirt after I did this one where I interviewed him, but I talked to him at a thing up at Water Tower, and it was like he was doing like this tennis collaboration thing. He had and the shirt had a fly boy with a tennis racket on it. The shirt is decent, but it wasn't a shirt that I wore too much
Yeah,
or in public. Yeah,
right. And I mean, I was just using yeah, and I'm using him using that as an example of saying wearing art versus having on your wall. I'm like Virgil, like if Virgil and Kanye want to be artists, how the boss? I mean, to try to be a real artist. I'm like,
yeah,
God knows if Kanye made some modern art and threw the shit on the wall, how much it would command. You know, I guess,
yeah.
but for him,
It
he's
would.
more but he's more of a mass. He's more of a mass, product person anyway. He's not a person
Yeah,
that really puts a whole lot of I don't know in my mind.
yeah.
At least it's been a minute from him sonically since he's done it,
Yeah.
but
With
who's put
his
a whole lot of
ego,
thought.
it's more of like it's like a totalitarian thing with him. Like he has to see the effect that it has on a mass, like you said, mass amount of people. So with his music, he could see that, and with clothing and stuff, he could see that because people would wear a lot of people would wear his stuff and
There,
command his stuff. But with art, it's like you can't see that command as much, you know,
yeah,
or
the,
demand.
the same. Well, I mean, you can if you're good. Hebrew, like people be buying Hebrew shit like it's lemon drops. So I'm like, and they pay
Yeah, that's
insane
true. Yeah,
amount,
they pay a
and they
lot of,
pay
but
insane
it's
amount of
still
money
like
for it.
but still like a select group of people who do that. Like with Yeezy clothes and shoes and stuff, a lot of people who have no business wearing or acquiring that stuff still try to do it. Out of
Well,
some sort of you know feeling of connection to him or alliance with him or something. And that's one thing that I want to get to with this whole discussion. It seems like because I've seen all these posts now that I've seen over the past day or two, well, really the past day when the news come out about him being rich, being the richest black person now, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect how people perceive him or people or his whole this whole thing now with black folks. Because I think black folks they let you go on a lot of stuff when you give off the perception of ultimate success or ultimate, or transcended rich, wealth or something like that. I think a lot of people who a year or two ago was like fuck Kanye in general are gonna be coming back to him now that he's established as a billionaire now and the richest black person in America.
I don't know. To me, what's more sad to me is that it's giving hope to people like most rappers who make it out of style and not substance. it's gonna give a hope to a lot of people out there who think that they can make some derivative ass fashion and think it's going to
Yeah,
have the same level of success or similar
yeah,
level of success. That's really more problematic. And with his clothing line, I don't see it. I only see it being popular in like a couple of markets, and I mean it's California, certain parts of like the Miami area, like Florida, maybe some parts of there, and maybe some parts of New York, maybe. I mean, and I don't think it. I don't just see it something that's gonna. Because one, I don't know. People who kind of dress like that seem to be kind of. You always see live in those markets. For at least in my experience, or who's just really like into that type of fashion.
sure.
You may have, I don't know, a handful of people in Chicago that subscribe to it, and I
Yeah,
think even
yeah.
going
You,
through.
you got a handful of scenesters in every
Right.
major city that that they'll just like I say they'll try the shoes and they'll try the clothes just so they could see him on in some way connected to this person or this quote unquote movement. And yeah,
Yeah, I wonder. I really want to see what the marketing campaign is going to look like. I mean, that's for me. Um, I really want to see what the marketing campaign is going to look like, but I don't.
I'll still be frustratingly pretentious.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is that Gap. It's just going to be interesting because Gap has been a dying brand for a long time. I mean, the last quality thing they had for me was like their jeans, their Japanese denim, which used to be was good. Um, I don't know, like Banana Republic. eh, they've had a hard. Their quality controllers went down. So I just, yeah, I wonder how he's going to really, bring it back. I mean, because truth to be told, the Kanye fashion that I liked was from, you know, 15 years ago. I mean,
Where
that was,
he was still influenced by Ralph Lauren.
yeah. I mean, when he was a polo guy, yeah. I
And,
mean, yeah, that was more the Kanye over the last 10 years. I don't know, 10,
he's got
12 years.
he's gone beyond. Yeah,
There's been nothing. Yeah, there's been nothing that he's done fashion wise. Where I'm like, oh, that shit is dope. Nothing. I'm like the music kind of ebbs and flows, but the fashion has never been anything. Where I was like, wow, that guy is really talented. I'm like, I
he
don't.
yeah. I'm about to say it's funny though. You talk about the music. He won another Grammy. At least one I saw this past weekend. He won for that Jesus is King or whatever. Like it was there was he won in some gospel category, which is funny. But
Yeah, yeah. The only song I remember that stood out to me on that album was the Follow God. I mean, I think that was I think.
yeah, I think that was the one song that had sort of a beat that he could have done in a more secular song. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that
I
I
think that
think
was
that
decent. Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember anything else off that album that was just memorable. And I don't know. It's nice to have these conversations here. What I'm saying, just FYI, when I'm saying these things, I think to myself, when I say this, if I knew this person was listening, and I think to myself, the answer is yeah. I mean, I know they wouldn't really give it. I knew they probably wouldn't, probably would have a poker face towards it. They wouldn't say, well, I don't think they would,
Yeah.
I don't think they would come to feel a certain
I
type of
would
way.
love to see you in a square off with Kanye. Like as much you didn't see when he squared off with old boy at TMZ. Did you?
Yeah,
Or did you saw that?
yeah,
With,
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
yeah, and he extended his career off of that because he wasn't when he wound up leaving them. He's been able to extend his career off of that alone. But I would love to see you two talk to each other and
I
see
I
how
just
he would react to what you would have to say to him.
I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna give you I'm going to give you the greatest gift that someone could give, and that is the gift of a therapist. of a really or of a good therapist. Not one that's just gonna stroke your ego. One that's gonna give you some shit that's gonna try to heal your trauma that you've been afflicted with for the
Yeah,
last 13, 14 years. I
that's interesting because
get your
you
because
think he has to have access to great therapy, but
they're fucking sick. I can tell, like, so there's two types of therapists. There's the ones gonna give your ass to real, and there's fucking sycophants, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you going through a lot of trauma. You've had a hard life. It's been a hard." Those are the people who's gonna stroke your pole. No, you want somebody that's gonna say, "Yeah, you've been through some hard times, but what are you gonna do to get better? Or this is what you need to do to get better." I mean, if I could guarantee, I couldn't imagine that anybody in his circle right now, that kept it real, he probably left their ass in Chicago.
yeah,
I could guarantee anybody who ever had a try to have a come to Jesus moment with him probably left him where he found him. I can,
I'm getting up the no more parties in L.A. lyrics because I remember him making a mention of a therapist in that song. That's the
yeah,
last I could think of him. Let me
yeah,
see. Uh, it may be the last great verse he's ever written too.
yeah. It was that like 6 damn years ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was probably his last great verse. That was a great song. He sounded like he wasn't seeing his therapist at that
okay.
time.
Yeah,
He sounded
yeah,
like he was
okay.
a little
I'll be thinking every day Mulholland Drive needs to put up some goddamn
damn
barricade.
barricades.
Paranoid. I'll be driving. The problem is I'll be texting my psychiatrist got kids that I inspired. First song they played for me was about their friend that just died.
He just
Yeah,
died,
that's
right?
I don't know if that would I don't know what that city said, but this is
If he's
psychiatrists
friend,
what kids are inspired by.
so you already know he's a fucking sycophant. But if my kids really like you, I'm like, yeah, no, no, like no. I would give him some names of some people back home.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give. Yeah, no, it can't. No, not no damn L.A. therapist. Nobody's gonna stroke your pole. Uh, no, be like,
yeah.
oh, it's okay. You've been through a lot of trauma. It's a global pandemic. None of that
I'm sure a lot
bullshit.
of the therapists in LA too, they try to be easy with the most famous clients because they don't want to. It's they don't want to. They want to be able to
End up on
keep a
the A-list
clientele.
blacklist.
Yeah,
The A-list
keep an
blacklist.
A-list clientele. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, they're gonna milk the prostrate. They're not gonna give it to you real. I mean, yeah. So no, I'm just like, yeah,
yeah,
that's what I would probably give them some names, some therapists, back home. Be like, you can some black women therapists or somebody's gonna tell you the honest fucking truth. And that
right.
most and that you are the manufacturer of most of your unhappiness, in one motherfucker way or other. Um,
Yeah, you could probably almost be assured that he hasn't had a black female therapist. Yeah,
I like that's a whole nother conversation, but yeah, I
he
don't
would
know,
be.
black.
Yeah, that'd be some heavy. That'd be way too heavy for him.
Yeah, cause they gonna go straight to the point. They gonna talk about like what they gonna talk to him about mama. They'll start talking about shit he don't
Yeah,
want to talk about.
yeah,
Cause you can tell like in his songs he has like regular black people problems or did at one point, and he just doesn't really like like I guess flesh him out or like span him out.
yeah.
He talk about the cousin that stole his laptop. He talk about having problems with his dad, arguments with his dad. I'm like, you talk about talk about normal shit. I'm like, that would probably, and that's the things that he needs to work on. So yeah, that's so to
And
answer your question, that's what I would give him, the gift of quality help.
and a lot of people, I think, have thought that he has lost more. Lost a lot, lost his tether to reality in a lot of ways by being involved with the Kardashians and everything. And that may be true on a certain level, but he's the fact that he's divorcing her now, and that he's not going to really have probably much of a day to day family life. because she looks like she's gonna be just taking those kids and enveloping them, though they're gonna be essentially raised by her. I can imagine that he's gonna be probably even weirder and untethered. A lot of some people were saying when that news first broke out that he may make another great album now because because again so many people overrate the Dark Twisted Fantasy album, and that came after him breaking up with old girl, so they think that him being further weakened emotionally is gonna lead to some great art. No, it's gonna lead to him being weirder and him being more unbalanced, and I
Yeah,
go
he
ahead.
think. I was just like, he think he's gonna be like I don't know, like the black male version of Nina Simone. I'm like, that shit's not gonna work. Not in America, not in California. Like he's just gonna be like this eccentric genius and shit. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna work. Not not in the 21st century in Southern California. You know, and you got the
Yeah.
paparazzi all around your ass.
But
That's not gonna work.
he made you know he may go off. I could see him leaving the United States, leaving Southern California. I mean, he already has his little compound in Wyoming, so if that is enough for him, he may build another compound in Europe somewhere, in France, or he may mess around and be like Doctor Doom and create Latveria, create a real life Latveria.
I don't even think. I
He
don't
can
even
just
think
be
that's.
himself,
No,
be his complete self.
I don't even think that's necessary. I mean, sure having. I'm
But
sure
being
him being in
necessary
Europe,
isn't the quality of his. He doesn't just do what's necessary. He does more than that.
he seems to have more European sensibilities anyway with this weird ass with a lot of his fashion tastes anyway. So, maybe he'll just go home. Maybe he'll start the Gap Europe brand or something like that. I don't know. Or who knows? Uh
I think he's going to start a whole nation of folks who dress like you say, like peasants, and he'll be his own. He'll have his own kingdom
fuck
based in derivative fashion and.
fuck boy land.
We got about 15 minutes now, but let's talk about the Oscars a little bit, man. Let's talk about the nominations.
Oh yes.
But I don't know what like the stuff that was weird to me, I guess, and talking with some of the guys, and again, I thought it looks like we're not gonna have Melvin Taylor on again. Like he's getting to be like the Matt Damon to my Jimmy Kimmel right now, but 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 we I got this. I'm in a text string with him and a lot of the guys from War, past and present, and we were really stuck out with us when we saw that the nominations come across was the Five Bloods being shafted, being
Yeah.
not in the mix at all, and the two
He got
supporting.
the soundtrack. That was the only thing he got, I think.
Yeah, the score, I think. Yeah,
The score. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. Nothing for Delroy Lindo, and nothing for the movie, and nothing for Spike or anything. But in spite of that, it still hasn't been. It hasn't been a bad year for black filmmakers, of course, because of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom primarily, and Judas and the Black Messiah was. I think they both really came on later in the year, and this has been an extended year for submission because of the pandemic. So, typically in a year, given the release schedule, Judas and the Black Messiah wouldn't have been released in time for this year's Oscars because it was released in February. But, it was eligible for this year, and it really came in and took a lot of, a lot of the steam, a lot of the thunder from any other black movie, like say, outside of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and you look at like say Five Bloods and One Night in Miami didn't really get much anything. I don't think they got much anything, and even a movie like the 40-year-old version, which a lot of people was thinking that would
that
get
should
a
have got it.
screenplay. Yeah,
Should
that
have
would at
got
least get a
something.
screenplay nomination, which I think would have been perfect for Rada Blank. She wrote a great screenplay for
That
that.
should have got. That should have got something. Yeah.
Yeah,
That not.
and,
I don't know. It's all like it comes down. A lot of this shit is like same old shit. Foreign movie, old. Coming old white people coming to age shit. I mean, it's like I don't know.
yeah.
Like you have to take the black experience and put it in a foreign context, and maybe then you get a fucking award. I don't know. I mean, maybe like if you got to do a movie, like it has to be something that involves black pain, for
and,
it to win in
and
order to get nominated.
unfortunately, though I do think that Ma Rainey was a good movie, and I do think Chadwick Boseman deserved his nomination. I think unfortunately, the best thing that happened to that movie was him passing.
That's what I was gonna say to you. That I think that was that he got that nod because he made this transition. Unfortunately, they yeah, I mean I wonder would he have gotten it too if he was still with us. I
think there's a good chance that he would have, but it was a better chance with him passing.
Yeah, which is terrible.
Yeah.
That you gotta die to be appreciated.
But I mean, it's about storylines. These type of things. It's like
I don't know. I believe good actors should be fucking good. I mean, I believe you should be. You should be awarded based upon merits and not. I think that's the problem. Is why I don't watch.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't watch any of these things because it's a waste of fucking time. I'm not. It's like every time the people you think that should get it get snubbed, or they don't even get a chance to be in the runnings. Fuck winning the award. They're not even in the runnings.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
But I say, that's been for so long. That's been the case with black creatives in general, like with these awards, with the Grammys, with the Emmys. Like we don't even get recognized. And in the past 10, 15 years, there's been greater recognition, but there still just seems to be, especially with like the Grammys is just so far gone. It's really ridiculous, but it's still like, okay, they're recognizing folks, but what are they basing this recognition on? Like it's
Okay.
you have to question these things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like. There are certain things. I guess that makes it easy for people like me not to be sucked into watching these things and wasting a evening watching just some shit where I know it's gonna be a disappointment. I mean, the best thing that I could compare it to was I was at my gym earlier, personal with my trainer, and the guy he works with turns on this random ass game for college basketball, and he's like, what are you? And
we got to talk about that too, right quick before we end.
Yeah, and I forgot who was playing, but he was like, man, you could turn that shit off because he's like, unless it's somebody I have an emotional investment with, I don't watching sports for something that you don't even have unless it's your team that you care about. Unless somebody that you care about is on the stage, what the fuck am I watching it for?
Sure.
I mean, and that's kind of what I feel about like the Academy Awards. Nobody's on the stage. I mean, maybe with the exception of Riz Ahmed, no one's on the stage that I'm like, okay, I really care about. So I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, Riz apparently is the first Muslim man to be which is amazing. Nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, considering what he considering like the shit that he was in before, it's like you have to you got to be in a whole lot of, I don't know. And it's another thing too is like when you're black and white, especially the people who go through transformative transformations in the films are the ones who always are like a damn shoe in. And Riz went through like a transformation in this, and and a lot of other things that he was in, he's been like it's been some level of pain or transformation that he's been in, and
Yeah.
I think that's what adds to it.
The main thing I associate him with is the night of on
Right, the
HBO.
night of, right,
Yeah, it was. He
yeah,
went through a lot in that series. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it was that, or it was what is it? One of my favorite was was it Nightcrawler with
Oh right, right, yeah, that's right.
yeah, I mean, like like you have to like it has to you have to be to even get up here. You gotta go through some pain or transformation, and I think that's the whole reason why. And even with Chadwick, he didn't go through transformation in the film itself, but he went through his own transition, and yeah,
Yeah. And we think of though him like again, like say the storylines is the whole thing of we know now that he worked under this great pain and of having cancer and he did all this work in his last days and everything, and that's the type of stuff that's these awards try to sell themselves on instead of or when it comes to trying to get nominations too. It's like this whole thing of selling these people selling these performances on these peripheral things around them instead of just the actual act. Instead of putting to the front the actual act of acting or whatever that they did, we gotta put this other stuff and mix it up with this other stuff so that people can rally around it. It's
yeah,
campaign. It's really campaigning.
yeah. And I was biased when I saw the movie too, is because I watched the play of it. I forgot where the hell they had that thing up at. It was in Glencoe, a few years back, and the guy who played his character is actor named Kevin Ralston, and he plays a lot at Court Theater. He plays in all of the August Wilson plays, uh,
Okay.
and dude is phenomenal. Like if he was a film actor, he'd be in Academy Awards.
Yeah. So
So
you feel that if he was in the role that as and they filmed it like it would have been just as effective or more so than what Chadwick did.
oh yeah, no, I love Chadwick. I mean, he rest in peace. But not Kevin. Yeah, not Kevin. Kevin is strong. Like, watch if you put in like go to Court Theater and like on YouTube and you put in like some clips of him. Yeah, like dude is phenomenal. I mean, he actually has done like TV roles, but I
Hmm.
mean, he mainly does theater. And I
Sure.
think he's real dope. Like I've seen plays that I never would normally go see. Like last play I seen with him like right before COVID was Oedipus, and I was like I would never go see any of the classic Greek plays, but he was the lead in it, and that was the reason why I went to go see it
Okay.
because that's how good he is. And I think so. I just to say is like when I saw my Rainey's, I was like this is good, but I was also a little bit, I guess I had a different point of reference because I had already saw the play of it. And, the director, Ron O.J. Parson, he always kills it anytime he does an August Wilson play.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and so, yeah, I think that was the kind of the thing for me. But, yeah, like I said,
I could imagine that most of the Academy voters didn't have that same perspective as far as knowledge of August Wilson and or even
yeah.
having seen any August Wilson or seen that play in particular. You
And that's just a whole thing too. Is like how you discounting the black experiences because you don't have a frame of reference. You have these, I don't know, like a lot of these things where a lot of these movies you have the supporting role actors. It seems like you got Daniel Kaluuya, you got Leslie Odom, you got Lakeith. I don't know how both Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith ended up acting in supporting
That's
roles.
yeah. That was the main thing too that we were say our group in our text we was talking about that and a lot of people have looked at that and in the media too have been like there's been a couple pieces I've seen that have tried to explain that they have some access to the process, they know people who are involved in the processes of voting. But essentially, for what I've read, you know, and again, these things sort of these all these voting processes, they're too secretive, and they seem to need some sort of reform. You know, at one point, the reform was about uh, diversifying the voting electorate,
Hmm.
but now it seems to be along with that, it seems to be about like just making it more public or something, or making it more just understandable, because it seems like from what I've read, the the voters can place any performance, any acting performance in either supporting uh, or lead, no matter the time, no matter how much time the actor spends on screen, or whether they really are a supporting actor or a lead actor. They could place the performances in their nomination process in either supporting or lead. And it seems that it's very likely that Lakeith Stanfield's performance was ranked both in supporting and lead, but his rank in the lead performance category was probably lesser than it was in the supporting category. Like, he didn't make the top five in the lead, but he made the top five in supporting, which Daniel Kaluuya did as well, and they both ended up in supporting in that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the actor leading role, I'm sure Anthony Hopkins and both Gary Oldman have had enough nominations. I mean, not to be savage, but
Well, yeah, but
uh,
they don't look at it that way unless like one of those guys says don't nominate me. Like, ironically enough, I think Bill Cosby did this with the Emmys. Like, he said, just take me. At one point, he said, take me out of the nomination process, because he had enough. He had enough Emmys apparently, like, and
yeah,
he didn't need any more. So he was like, but those actors, like I say, those two actors, I guess they didn't feel there's no need. I mean, Hopkins, I don't know how many Oscars Hopkins has, but I know he has some. And Gary Oldman, I don't know. I think maybe he has one or something. I don't know. But they feel they did their work, and they want to be recognized. So I can't really blame them. But yeah, with the nominations, with the voters, it's like, yeah, you know, what are we really valuing here? Are we just valuing the name? Are we valuing a guy,
exactly.
a guy who's, are we valuing a body of work, a career, or are we valuing this particular performance?
Yeah, and I think that's important to point out. Like, I mean, I don't know. It get tired of seeing the same names, and they end up being the same people or the same type of people. I mean,
Definitely, definitely.
that's really what my challenge is. I mean, it's just that's the reason why I waste my time watching the shit. And then they're like, "Oh, ratings are down." It's because you show us the same old bullshit, and you wonder why people don't want to watch it. I mean, this ain't the
And
fucking. That's
that's happened apparently with the Grammys this year. They've had a particularly low rating, and it's
this ain't
probably
the
going to happen with the Oscars as well.
this
Like,
ain't the
The Oscars have sort of continually trended down in recent years.
yeah, this ain't the fucking '90s anymore, where you ain't got nothing, or you got public access, where you just got regular TV and shit. Yeah, I got plenty of other options I can watch. I don't need to watch you. Yeah, yeah. I don't
And
know.
like you say, if the movies and the performances that we value and that we look up to aren't being recognized, then why would you look at an award show that's not recognizing stuff?
Yeah, no, yeah, no, no, yeah, agreed.
But
But
yeah, we coming up on our time here. Dave is looking at you looking at a clock or a phone or something. But yeah, we like I said, we going to about 9:45. It's 9:44, and 7:44 out there in the west. But that's our show for this week. Hopefully again we'll get
Melvin,
Melvin Taylor on sometime soon. But uh, next week we should be on Tuesday, actually, at I have a guest for next week, and she wanted to go on Tuesday, so we'll do the show on Tuesday,
Okay.
and yeah, we'll be like I said, we'll be back sooner than later because we did the show a little later this week. But the one thing I want to say before, are you gonna do the bracket for me in the group that I sent out? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see the brackets. Sorry, I must have missed that one.
But look at
I,
your email. Yeah, look at
I,
your email.
I'll check the email.
Yeah,
So I,
I
so
would
I,
love it. I would love it to see your bracket, man. Because
I
and
have it
I'm
ready
putting
for
up some
Tuesday.
money for it too. So the first place gets $50.
I'll be ready for Tuesday.
Okay, but the bracket you got to be ready for tomorrow. But
I'll look at it tonight then.
yeah, look at it. Yeah, try to look and see. But yeah, I'm sure you'll be ready for Tuesday. My guest will be Maya Akai, who is a pretty smart and quick witted lady like we had last week with the with oh God, what's wrong with me?
Well,
We
we
had
Heather
Happy
D,
D here last week.
Heather D. Yeah.
I hope she don't see that. She gonna be mad at me if I blanked on her that. But yeah, we'll have another great guest next week, Maya Akai. We may even do it. Because she broke into broadcasting and sports, so we may even do a little sports talk with her. But we'll do some. It'll be a show unlike any other with us, but or like any other with us. But we gonna definitely have some fun with Maya next week. Tuesday, like I said, Tuesday, and we'll be back on YouTube as well. But thanks to all y'all who checked this video out on Facebook, and yeah,
Thanks
hope
to the
y'all.
commentary from your man with the banana leaf.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Wes. Shout out to him, and shout out to everybody else who checks us out here on Facebook and podcasts as well on War on Anchor and all the various platforms we'll be on. Check us out. And yeah, that's it. I'm keeping Dave over time. I don't want to keep him too much longer. Let him go, and we'll let y'all go. But enjoy your week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others, and that's it. Y'all. We'll be out.
All right. See you
Yeah.
next week.